So the first batch of 2018 flagship phones are already arriving, and there's a pattern. A lot of the devices are utilizing the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 that I spoke about when it was released back in December, and I was actually really excited about. And even though it's only been a short bit since the chipset was announced, all of the normal major players are already releasing flagships with the Snapdragon 845 in it and the features that it enables, which means that already we're kind of getting a set of expectations of what 2018 flagships will be and all of these cool features that they'll have. So firstly, they're all going to be more powerful. Duh. 30% more powerful in terms of CPU and GPU processing speeds, actually, as well as 30% less power hungry, thanks again to that Snapdragon 845. So as usual with an upgrade in a chipset, faster performance, better battery life, check. Next, we have one of my favorite features that I hope will make it into more and more flagships, 10-bit HDR capture. The Sony XZ2, for example, is the first device that'll be able to support this. Now, without getting too technical, basically this means that there's a lot more data for videos to work with. Instead of just having 8 bits like we're used to, there's now 10, and that means each color now has a lot more shades that can be shown. This reduces banding in images, and it makes for a more lifelike image. In addition to the color depth, there's just more colors to work with. So instead of the Rec 709 space that we're used to that has about 16 million colors, this new chip will be able to handle Rec 2020, which supports over 1 billion colors. This type of color gamut and depth isn't even available on cameras that cost thousands of dollars, and now it's going to be on phones that we all carry around shortly. Another feature regarding the camera that you're going to see a lot of is super slow motion. From the 960 frames per second short burst slow-mo that the Sony XZ2 and the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus have, to prolonged high frame rates at 240 frames per second in all of these devices. Expect your social feeds to have a lot more epic shots of people throwing crap in the air. Combined with the cameras on these devices come a bunch of AI and depth sensing technology, thanks in big part to that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845's hexagon vector processor, what other companies would probably call an NPU. For example, prepare to see a lot of real-time AR. AR emoji on the S9, for example, allows you to capture your face using the front camera and turn you into an emoji that you can use to send real-time animated videos and other things with your facial expressions. The Sony XZ2 has 3D Creator, which you can use the front or back camera to scan your face and make a 3D model, or you can actually even scan any object. And the Asus Zenfone 5Z has Zenmoji, which is similar to the S9's AR emoji. And it just shows that like facial tracking without having all this crazy hardware on the front, using just software and the cameras, is getting pretty good, right? Now, the last thing I'll mention about the cameras on these things is the putting of AR objects into our world easier without that added hardware. Now, we've seen this with plenty of 835 devices and iPhones so far, but this new gen is even more precise and just has faster, better performance. Now, I still don't really have a huge use for AR like this, but it's still just really cool, in my opinion, to see how far this tech is coming and how quickly it's happening. Now, on the audio side, high-res audio and even high-res audio over Bluetooth is becoming a standard in all of these phones. Now, if you're not familiar, high-res audio is kind of the branding term or standard that means better than CD quality audio. Now, many 845-based devices, including the Sony XZ2 and Asus 5Z, use the Qualcomm acoustic codec, or DAC, that can deliver high-fidelity audio at these high bit rates. Now, for Bluetooth, the prevalent tech for high-res audio is furnished by Qualcomm's aptX HD, instead of just the normal aptX that we saw a lot of last year. It allows for that 24-bit audio to be streamed over Bluetooth to a compatible headset. Basically, all of the flagship devices announced at Mobile World Congress, and probably a lot going forward, that utilize that 845 have all of these features enabled, so audiophiles can probably rejoice. But just make sure that you stock up on 3.5mm to USB-C adapters, because the headphone jack, it's becoming an endangered species. Now, another feature along the line of audio is the fact that thanks to the same codec in these devices, they can enable always listening hot word detection while utilizing pretty much no power. The Sony XZ2, for example, can activate Google Assistant without needing to be plugged in or even having the screen on. Same for Bixby on the Samsung S9. So you can just say, "Hey Google," or "Hi Bixby," and it'll just be ready to go, making it a lot more useful, in my opinion, making it a lot more like the, voice assistants that I'm used to dealing with in my house, like Google Home and the Amazon Echo. Now, along with all this, it seems that more and more of the flagships are finally getting on board with not only gigabit LTE, more info on that in my video below that I'll link, but with second-gen gigabit LTE from the 845, giving them peak download speeds of up to 1.2 gigabits per second, which, by the way, is already available in some markets and just future-proofs them for the ones that are all coming shortly. There, guys, there's just a couple of the features that I'm super excited about on flagship 2018 phones that are all coming out. I think it's kind of cool. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys about this video, about all these features, the new phones that are all being announced. You can check out my other videos on those as well. I've linked those down below. But yeah, if you like this video, please thumbs up it or share it. Greatly appreciated. Please subscribe if you're not already, and make sure to hit the bell next to subscribe to be notified whenever I do new videos if you're interested. And as always, regardless, thanks for watching.